All right, so we have an article here from Simone that I wanted to read to you. You can thank ovulation and patriarchy for why some women tear each other down. And then the picture here is a woman giving the middle finger behind her back. Okay, I don't know. I really don't get it. Ready for some backflips for this one? You're going to have to be ready for some backflips for this one. Some mental gymnastics here. Hello and welcome back to my channel. Thank you all for stopping by. Please remember to like, comment, share, subscribe. Make sure that you're still subscribed. Find me over on Rumble and on Twitter. Now let's dive into this article. I recently had a conversation about why women compete with each other with girlfriend that kept playing over in my head for a few days after. The conversation centered around how some women aggressively compete, undermine, and degrade one another. While we were talking, I kept thinking about why. The why was so important to me, and though I felt like I already had a good idea why, I wanted to take time to really think about why some women seem to find pleasure in doing this to other women. Why some women do. It seems like it's pretty commonplace in our culture. I don't know if it happens so much in other cultures because women know their position in society. Research tells us that there are a few reasons that women are catty and competitive. Obviously, there is some evolutionary psychology at play. In the 1800s, Charles Darwin reduced intrasexual competition down to basically mate-seeking men. Okay? But we now know the same applies to women. In other words, natural selection. Studies have come a long way since then, as has technology and our society. We don't have to get married at 14 so we can have 50 to 11 kids before our wagon wheels break off and we die of malaria on our trek across the Oregon Trail. Despite that, evolution dies hard, and according to John Manor, a Florida State University psychologist, women can smell their perceived competition when they're ovulating. So how does that kill evolution then? That doesn't kill evolution. I mean, obviously, if your sense of smell evolved to be so acute during ovulation, or when other women are ovulating to detect ovulation, then it's an evolutionary trait. Based on our testosterone findings, one could speculate that women exposed to the scent of ovulation might become more antagonistic or competitive. Okay, that sounds like an evolutionary adaptation to me. And why you would think that would kill evolution? But like I said, mental gymnastics here. Researchers also think that lots of our nasty behavior is because of patriarchy. I know. I have no argument there. Of course you don't. Think about it. If we find our value in men, then the only competition is other women who could replace us. Yeah, that's true, but what does that have to do with patriarchy? You think that women don't compete for men in non-patriarchal societies? Cutthroat female competition is due mainly to the fact that women, born and raised in male-dominated society, internalize the male perspective, the male gaze. Oh, really? It's because men do it that women do it. Oh, okay. He said women were never attracted to men before the patriarchy, apparently. That's how this works. And adopt it as their own. Noam Spencer writes in a Psychology Today article on female competitiveness, the male view of women is primarily sexual objects becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy as women come to consider being prized by men their ultimate source of strength, worth, achievement, and identity. They are compelled to battle other women for the prize. Okay, so you want me to explain how this actually works, Noam? If you want to blame it on patriarchy at all, this is the only way in which you can do it. And that is to say that men decided, hey, you know what? Civilization only really works if where each man is allowed only one female, right? We only get to choose one female. We tried early on doing like, hey, you get a handful maybe, but what we found was, hey, you know, there's going to be a lot of men who don't have a female, and if men get a female and then have kids, they're less likely to act violently. They just kind of settle down into raising a family, being part of society, instead of going, hey, I want what you have. I can't get that. I'm going to start hurting people. Male aggression is driven a lot by sexual desire. That's just the way that it is. I mean, you have that extra pent-up testosterone. So saying that, men only get one woman, each man only gets one woman, is going to make pressures for women to compete even stronger, because those women are going to be competing for the best man they can get instead of just any man. And as we can see here in our modern times that are becoming more and more feminized, women are becoming more and more competitive. We see that women are sharing high quality men, what they consider high quality men, and they know about it. We've seen this happening. All right, back to the article. From our body size to sexual preferences, many women fall prey to trying to create a version of themselves that a man is going to aggressively desire. Yeah, some women do. But we see more and more people today being obese and starting at younger and younger ages. This pressure creates cracks in our self-esteem and psyche. Oh no. Feeling like you're not good enough makes you have lower self-esteem. Oh no. That works for men too. If another woman that is taller, fitter, thicker, or smarter shows up in our lives, that could possibly be competition for the male gaze. Then some of us feel some kind of way about ourselves. In some cases, we feel some kind of way even if she's not competition. This is when the kitty claws come out. The mean mug, eye rolls, and judgment. Even if you've never shared 2 words with the smart body slayer who makes you green with envy, the reality is that our negative response to other women is a projection of how we feel about ourselves. Yeah, sure it is. It has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that you recognize the most attractive woman or a more attractive woman. No man is chasing after the thicker girl. No man is chasing after the smarter girl. Maybe taller, yes. Fitter, for sure. I'll tell you right now, men want fit women. Some men like tall women. I'm not one of them. It's a funhouse mirror that reflects our inaccurate version of who we are, but we turn on her anyway because it's easier. Yeah, I know. Heaven forfend you should put down the freaking donuts and go to the gym. We are not seeing the other woman as who she is, and who she is just may be badass. Instead, we see who we are not, or who we think we are not. But maybe, like he said it right here. If she is badass, I mean, if you roll up on me and you're a chubber, and you're like, hey, sexy man, let's go. And there's like another girl who walks up right behind you, and she's not a chubber, and she's like, hey, doing the same thing. Haha. Chubber's going to lose out. Chubber's going to lose out anyway, because I'm not about the chubs. So it's easier to tear down another woman than to address what's really going on inside ourselves. Stupid name poignantly describes comparison as an act of violence against oneself. Yeah, comparison is an act of violence against oneself. Yep, that's what it is. Maybe it's an evolutionary trait going, hey, you know what? You could be more like that, and then you could have a better chance of reproducing. Yeah, just saying, tossing that out there. This collateral damage aggression can take a toll on women who feel pressure to live up to impossible standards. Yeah, impossible standards. I've never seen a woman in real life who looked like she just walked off the cover of a magazine. Never. That's never happened because that's an impossible standard, right? I've never seen that. It's like every freaking day out here in California, I see that. And I hear it's even more crazy in Miami. Like in Miami, it's like beautiful people everywhere. I've never been, so. Though Black and Latina women generally have less issues with body image challenges, yeah, I mean, they're all fat and gross. That's not true. They're not all. I mean, there's plenty of thin ones, but it seems like, yeah, they don't seem to care if they get fat. But I guess maybe Black men, Hispanic men like fat chicks. Many of us still struggle with idealized version of ourselves based on our peers and media images and messages. But there are still many levels to this stuff, as they say. Women dress for each other, and we even put on makeup for each other. Yeah, sure you do. The flex games are real, let's be honest. Many men like a good red lip and a pair of heels, but many also love and often prefer us barefaced and couldn't tell the difference between a pair of jeans from Rainbow and a pair from All Saints. I don't know what either of those things are. So many of us strut our stuff to show off for women as much as, if not more, for men. Peacocks have nothing on us. Yeah, so you're doing this for men, period. You can sit here and say some men often prefer a bare face and couldn't tell the difference in your jeans. Yeah, well, a lot of men don't. I mean, men will take a woman who wears makeup and who doesn't wear makeup. They don't really care. They're not interested in your face. It's pretty much everything below your face and the proportions that you present there that men are interested in. I have met men who claim that they're interested in a woman's face, that that's the most important thing to them. I don't believe those men because I've met too many men who are like, nope, it's all about the body. All about the body, 100% about the body. So when you're going around showing off, you're dressing a certain way, putting on makeup to impress women, but you just set up here at the top that it's all about competition to get men. Okay, so you're being competitive with women to impress them so that you can get men. So it's all about men. Said mental gymnastics here. Intersexual competition becomes even more aggressive when women begin to compare their sexual histories to one another. Researchers at Cornell University surveyed male and female students about their sexual behaviors, after which participants read a short description of a hypothetical friend who had either 2 or 20 sexual partners. Female participants ranked the woman with 20 sexual partners more negatively, regardless of their own sexual history. Men did not rank other men as harshly. According to the researchers, this is because women don't want to be considered rototillers or become social pariahs by association, and ultimately want to keep women like this away from their partners. There is a reason for this. If a woman can show that she is not promiscuous, then she's more likely to attract a quality man. That's just the reality. That's how this evolved, I'm sure. I mean, I don't know, obviously, but it wouldn't surprise me. And not only that, but if a woman can prove that she is not promiscuous, then she's more likely to attract a man, period, whether or not he's quality or not. I mean, it's just men are going to be interested in getting with a woman who is innocent, because then they can be ensured that they have passed on their genes. This is not rocket science, people. If I get with a woman and the first time we do it, she bleeds, and it's not her monthly, I can go, okay, she's new at this. She's not going to have another man's seed running around in there. And if I keep her away from other men and keep wrecking her on a daily basis, like you should be doing, then she's going to end up with my child, and it's going to be mine. It's just evolutionary adaptations. As women, we often shame and are just as violent towards women as some men. Yeah, okay. This is, that's hyperbole right there. I mean, yeah, they say some men, but some men doesn't, what does that mean? 90%? And men are more likely to hurt men than they are to hurt women, so shut up. Some women also other women and reduce them to sexual objects to be discarded by referring to them as females, female dogs, and proper garden tools. In essence, imitating sexism driven by patriarchy. Oh, that's what we're doing. Imitating sexism driven by patriarchy. You're not actually competing for higher quality men. Yeah. Because of social, familial, and cultural pressures, the Madonna whore complex is still very much a reality and leaves many women feeling that unless a man finds her number acceptable, she's somehow worthless, as are other women with high numbers. Well, typically, you're not going to get a good man if you have high numbers, and you know this. That's just the reality we live in. Between being hardwired for competition and nurture-induced judgment, it's easy to see why a woman could find herself competing with another woman, but you don't have to compare yourself to others. Oh, really? You're just going to be awesome without comparison? I gave you an example earlier about if a chubber came up to me and not so chubber. It's not gonna happen, right? With a chubber, it's not going to. The reality is that women don't have to devalue other women to find value within themselves. Well, that's one way of doing it, though. So we don't have to keep our sex number low to be worthy of respect and love. Yeah, you pretty much do. That's just how human beings are. And we see this across the world. It has nothing to do with the Western world. It has to do with just humans in general. Instead, women should seek to defog the mirror in which they see themselves and other women. Once you are able to see the value in your life, it's hard to look at someone else and see them as, I think it's supposed to be as, invaluable. It's okay if a woman is prettier, smarter, taller, fitter, or whatever else than you. Imagined or not, when we focus on our own light, our own uniqueness, and fulfilling our own path in life, it will become easier to see that our value is not tied to a man's approval and that other women owns their autonomy and their sexual choices have nothing to do with you. We don't need to lower the stock of other women either for the future of the species or for our own psyches, Gordon argues. When we each focus on being a dominant force in our own universe rather than invading other universes, we all win. I think Emily is right. When we are fully able to see that we each are unique beings, then we can understand why we don't have to prove how worthy we are by putting other women down. If you want to better yourself, it does not take tearing another woman down to do so. You are your own competition, so start there. We are worthy just as we are, and it's time we all started to believe that. You are not your own competition. You are not your own competition. Do not believe that for a second. You are not your own competition. If a guy looking like Danny DeVito shows up on a date and a Chad shows up on the same date, who's going to get the girl? A Chad. That's just how it is, okay? So you are not your own competition. Up here, they talk again, and she mentions again, hey, you got to be prettier, smarter, taller, fitter. You don't have to do any of those things. Yeah, you know what? Being taller, I said that. It's not going to help you. Look at this right here. So, man, a 26 dating woman trapped in 8-year-old's body hits out amid furor. How dare you? Yeah, okay, so this is, I am Shauna Ray. She has a TV show on TLC. This is Shauna Ray right here. She's 23, and this is her boyfriend. Being shorter does not matter, ladies. Being shorter does not matter at all. You can be super short, and regular-sized dudes are going to be all upon you, because men don't really care how tall you are. I've seen plenty of short men date tall women. I've dated women who are taller than me. I don't prefer that, so I go after women who are shorter than me. And I ended up with a woman who's shorter than me because that's what I wanted. Yeah, so this is obviously insanity here. This is another article that is very, very similar to that one that we just read. I'll leave a link to this down in the comments. This one's even like it's more accusatory towards men, so it's pretty funny by affinity. It's pretty funny, yeah, how these women just want to point the finger. They're doing everything that they say they shouldn't be doing in this article. Pointing the finger at you and saying, you're a terrible woman. But I'm also pointing the finger at society and saying, it's terrible because it's doing this to me. It's all about other people. It's like, you don't, everybody else is mean and nasty, and it's not us. We're fine the way that we are. Yeah, maybe you are. Maybe you are, but the only person you can change in this whole world, there's only one person you can really change in this whole world. You only get one. That's you. So good luck if you need to make some changes. Anyway, that's all I got for this time. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.